Hello, y'all on YouTube. This is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we're doing part 2 of an unboxing, something that came in from 704. I had a chance to check out, I believe it's called 704 Gear. The gentleman who has this channel, he actually started off as a channel. He's got like over 2 to 3 million followers now, and he started a company, and he does a lot of this stuff. And one of the things they do is knives. And so via some friends of the channel and channel members and subscribers, they knew the guy, and so they said, hey, maybe you'd like to check a couple of knives out. And he did. He mailed me 2 knives. We already did one unboxing. We're now doing the second, so let's take a look. All right, so we're back. This is what we're going to be checking out. This is the Fang on this particular knife, so let's take a look and see what is the Fang all about. So the first one was pretty much a good budget knife. So we're not looking at sort of a super expensive premium knife. Nice little case. I do think that's pretty cool. Comes with a nice fiber cloth, a nice 704 there. Looks like you've got, what do we have? We have some nice stickers. Yeah, definitely some stickers. Oh, this one has the bear. Okay, very cool. And then we got the limited lifetime warranty. All right, this one's black. The other one that we checked out was green, and it was really small. This one feels a little bigger. So that's a first. All right, I like that. I can tell you already, I like that. This is a little bigger. All right, so we're going to go put the card off. So this is called a Fang 704. It was captive pivot before. We've got the G10, nice texture on this one. The texture actually makes this look kind of almost a little bit like carbon fiber, but it is G10. Steel liner. Looks like it's got a nice big lanyard hole right there. Steel in the back. A little sharp on the edge. I'm not a fan of that, but this is a giveaway knife. I know a lot of people love giant mouths and they have no issues with that. This is just a personal thing, aesthetic here. I like that to be a little more rounded. But yeah, so this is a crossbar lock. So we're looking at a crossbar lock with Omega springs in there. Got the thumb studs right there. All right. And we got the pocket carry clip, pretty deep carry. It is going to stick up a little bit, kind of giving priority to the lanyard because this apparently is going to be something for outdoors-ish. We are off-centered a little bit. We'll check out and see if it's the loose pivot or not here in a second. We have the lanyard loop, and we've got one standoff right here, steel liners all the way through. And yeah, there you go. Now this is all black. So let's see how the thumb studs work and give it a flip. All right. Oh, this is a Tonto blade. So, all right. So we got a Tonto blade. Very cool little point right there on the axis. D2 steel. Okay. How are we on? Yeah. So we're off a little bit. So we can fix that. There's ways to center a blade. We can talk about that. The axis is pretty solid in there. I will give it credit. That is not loose at all. So as soon as you move this, it moves the crossbar lock, the crossbar bar itself for the crossbar locks. So there we go. It does work pretty nicely. All right. It feels like, I don't know if it's caged bearings. I'm gonna guess it probably is. It looks like it's probably caged bearings, not phosphor bronze. All right. So there's definitely a way to fix that. We can get a little piece of paper and loosen it up. It is pulling over to the left real quick there. So that's not unusual with crossbar locks, unfortunately, I hate to say it. So again, I believe this is a budget line, so it definitely feels like it. I'm going to guess we're looking at a knife probably in the $40 to $50 range, maybe less. It's D2 steel, so I would think it might be a little bit less, but you know, I don't know. So we'd have to take a look. So real quick, just to show you how quick it can be to fix an off-centered knife, all you got to do is get a little piece of paper like this. Gotta get your tools super quick. So it's a T8 there on this one. Yep. T6 is all the way over there. So we need a T8 and a T6. So those are my 2 there. So what I'll do first is I'll loosen the pivot here. All right. So we're just going to loosen that just a little bit. And then we're going to loosen the body screws. There's 3. Yep. Okay. All right, so we were a little to the left. So what we do is we put this in here. Now it's going to bring that over to the right. Now tighten up the pivot. We get a little bit tighter than normal, and then we tighten up the body screws. Pull that out. And lo and behold, we are just about dead nut center. And that's it. That's all you got to do. So super quick little tip right there to center a blade, which is always fun. It's always nice when it works super fast like that, and you don't have to do it multiple times, because sometimes you have to do it more than once just to get it over there. Because I was not trying to be overly aggressive right away, because then you have to go back the other way. So we are pretty much dead center here. So let's just make sure, are we in there good? Yeah, we're in there good. All right, so is it easy to reverse flick? Yeah, you can reverse flick that. So there you go. So nice. Are we still, yeah, we're still pretty dead centered nuts right there. Yeah, it's retaining its center. So that's good. All right, so very good. All right, so it's got a Tonto blade, not super crazy thick, even got a little swedge on top, which is a nice touch. Nice tip there. Pretty sharp here, pretty sharp up on top. Is the edge pretty even? It's even over here. It's a little wonky right there, but you know, do a little sharpening. You can reprofile that. D2 sharpens up pretty nicely. It strops up really well too. I like the black coated. This will definitely be a nice hidden kind of knife if you're out hunting or out doing something you don't want people to see what gear you have on you. That's definitely, this will meet the bill. It's reversible, right hand, left hand tip up. It looks like chamfered all the way around on the G10. It doesn't feel like any sharpened spot. It does have a little crowning on the thumb studs, just enough to get on top of there. Not anything sharp like a barrel thumb stud, which sometimes I find uncomfortable. That has enough of a little rounded tip, which makes it very useful. I like that. So, and it's always nice that you can do that. Now, the thing about a crossbar lock is, right, you can also be a lock itself, right? So it can do that as well, and then it can drop. So far, the action's pretty decent. It's not bad. I mean, it's not what you would get with a $500 knife. So, you know, we're talking about a budget knife, and so I have different expectations for budget knives. I don't expect them to be something that they're not, right? A budget knife is a tool made for a certain range in your budget. It's made for someone who is looking for a knife that'll do a certain thing for a certain price, because you realize that, you know, it's not going to be a super steel. It's not going to be titanium, so it's going to have some weight to it. You know, that's okay. And that's, I like to review budget knives. I like to see bangers that are out there, some really nice knives, and something to consider, because sometimes, a lot of times, it's more about the aesthetics, right? You can find a lot of similar knives, but you want to find something that you enjoy, that is pleasing for you to look at. And that's what's, budget knives does have a lot of diversity in, I think. So definitely something to be considered. 704, again, this is, as I said in my other video, it is a confidential manufacturer that works for them. You know, other places do that, like Quite Carry and some other places, you know, and that's totally cool. That's totally cool. I think Jack Wolf does it too. So, I mean, it's different people that do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you do that because you're protecting your manufacturing line to make sure it doesn't, you can keep producing your stuff. Other times, maybe a manufacturer is doing a budget version that they don't really want to know that anybody else that they are doing, right? So there you go. But I think it's not bad, right? So we got a nice blade steel here. It is a crossbar lock, I said. I think it's caged bearings, I'm pretty sure. The clip does work, recessed screws, chamfered all the way around. This is a little sharp up here. I would love for that to have been knocked down. If this was plain titanium, I would probably sand it. But here it'll show up now. If you use this and you beat it up and it gets all scratched up and everything, and the black starts falling off, then you could do that. You wouldn't worry about it, right? Steel liners, there's no weight relief for this one, so it's got a little bit of weight to it, for sure. You know, that's one of the things that does, you know, not cutting out that weight relief does save money on milling and time. So in that regard, that's a cost savings, right? Definitely a cost savings. So that is something that'll help the knife be more affordable. So I think in that regard, that's kind of cool. D2 steel, that's an ingot steel. It's not a powder form steel. There is a CPM version D2, which would be a better version, but the D2 is not bad. It's definitely better than some of the cheaper steels, like the 1080 or 440 or 440 HX or whatever the different ones that are out there, or 8 MRV. I forget the name of that one, but it starts with 8 MRV, right? So definitely a better steel than that. So something really cool. All right. I'm going to give my expectations. You know, I knew this was going to be a budget knife. I'm pleasantly surprised. Sometimes you can get a budget knife and it's not good. It's not good, you know, and it's like it wants to be. And you can tell it probably costs $2 or $3 to make, and it's just not a great knife. This one actually feels pretty well put together. I will give you that. It feels like it's a diamond in the rough, something that they're just getting into that may maybe not be their main focus. But I suspect that as they do more work for 704, they're just going to keep getting better. But this is not bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, for a budget knife, I am I am pleasantly surprised. I like the aesthetic of the Tonto blade. I like the swedge. It's a thinner, longer, thinner kind of tip here. Great for poking, for getting into dog food, cat food, fertilizer, mulch, cases of water. But maybe even if you're out somewhere, you need to poke in and get into some of your stuff, cut into some sap, some trees, whatever. It's got a nice pokey tip, so that is really nice. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. I'm not a super huge fan of low clips like this. I like to be all the way up, fully concealed. But if you're going to have a lanyard and that's important to you and you want to prioritize it, this makes sense. It does make sense to be here. Again, this is not necessarily a knife for my cup of tea, right? But it doesn't have to be. Everybody has different tastes and different aesthetics, right? Here's another knife from Kaiser. Not necessarily my vein, my cup of tea, but I appreciate it. I appreciate its design and what its intent is. There's a lot of weight relief. It's also probably going to be about twice as much as that knife. I mean, when you look at budget knives, you spend more, you get more. There's different things that come in there. If you want to spend more, you could do some cutout weight relief on the steel liners. That costs money. That's milling time. You want to do something simpler on a clip. That costs money. It's more design, right? There's a lot of things you can do, but whether you want to or not, it's really up to you and what you're looking for in a knife. So there you go. All right. So this is, let me make sure I've got the name correctly on this one. This is the Fang. This is the 704 Fang. So very, very cool. So we have a couple of knives. This will also be part of a giveaway eventually. I'm going to carry this a little bit, get my thoughts on there, definitely write a review on this thing and give you my final thoughts on this. And, once we get an idea of the price and what we're talking about, then that can also influence some of that, because I don't know what it's going to be, the price. Sometimes I'm wrong, really wrong. But if it's a really good price, I mean, it's going to be a lot more favorable, right? Just like this. I know what the price of this is. And if I handle this, and then, if I saw the price, I might be more critical saying this is a budget knife. But once I handled this, I could tell there was extra things added to this that you don't normally get in a budget knife. So that's why it's more. This feels like, it's going to be one of those things that's very good for cost savings. So, and it's going to give you a decent knife, a solid knife for what you need to do at a price where you don't have to worry about it, right? Yeah, you can go out and spend $100, $200, $500 and get a really, really fancy knife. But if you're worried about, this knife and where you're going to take it, what you're going to do with it, this might be just the best alternative right here. So there you go. All right, so let's go ahead and do a little close-up here. We kind of zoom in on this. All right, so here's the Tonto blade shape with the little swedge on top, the thumb studs. They are rounded at the top, semi-volcano, but just enough to give you some traction. There's the 704 captive pivot, nice little touch. You see the crossbar lock with the Omega springs kind of sticking out. This is the G10. It has a nice, interesting reflection, makes it look a little bit like carbon fiber, but it's not. It's G10, but it gives you enough texture here where you can get enough grip. I like that. Here's a very prominent lanyard loop. And so if lanyards are important to you, you'll really, really like this. If they're not, then you may not like this. It's pretty sharp on the edge. It's my only complaint right there. And it also causes this to hang rather low and kind of stick out. So, if I had my druthers, if I had my choice, if I had any recommendation, I would say, try to make this a less prominent, sharp kind of lanyard. Maybe bring up your G10 scale and just put a pin in there or something simple, right? And then allow the be a little deeper carry. That would be nice. Just my 2 cents. I like the crossbar lock. It does work pretty well. It does seem to have pretty decent action. Works great right-handed, left-handed. So there we go. Here's the blade on this side. I think I might have been talking without showing it. So sorry about that if that happens. So there you got the Tonto with a pretty big D2. It's a little overstated, but there you go. And here's the lanyard loop right there. You can see the G10 scales. Pretty cool. The deep pocket carry clip, it is kind of low, but screws are recessed, so that's nice. And then you have the back side here where it can be reversed, and there's the 704 logo, which is not bad. I think that's kind of cool. And there's that. So again, D2. All right, so let's get out a little bit. Nice full shot. All right, so there you go. And then let's look at the back with that crossbar lock and then the clip. All right, so if you have any questions about this knife, let me know. Let me know if you already have it or you've owned it, or if you're interested in it. Sometimes the nice thing is if you want to buy knives or you need to buy knives for people or friends, you want to find a really cheap one, especially someone who may not appreciate a knife as much, but you don't want to give them a dangerous knife. You want to give them a good solid knife, but you want to find something that's very frugal. I feel like this is a good alternative. We'll find out more when I get the links and I put it into the video, and then we'll be able to, at that point, at least confirm or deny whether, you know, whether this is a great budget knife or not. Hopefully they're priced well. I don't know anything about the company. It's my first time checking them out. So let's give it a shot. So, you know, if I'm wrong, I will definitely make a comment about it in my review. I did tell the person I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest in my review of these knives. I'm going to give you my honest first impression, right? But I also take into account, what is their objective? What's the goal in the knife? What is their target audience, right? You know, if you're going to tell me this is supposed to be like a Rob Johnson, I'm going to tell you this is a big miserable failure. No. But if you're trying to say you're going to be equal to a Benchmade, I would say no, it's not. But if you're going to try to be equal to a budget Kaiser, a budget, you know, Remit, a budget Civivi or Sencut, even maybe more like a Sencut, I would say, yeah, I mean, this is definitely, I think, getting into that competitive range. So I would say that's what we're looking at. So there you go. Hey, if you have any questions, or if you found this interesting, content fun, worthwhile, or entertaining, would you please consider hitting that like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider also hitting the subscribe button down below? Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel as the channel produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who watches the videos, who subscribes, who enjoys the channel, who's part of the live streams. I appreciate you. Thank you so very, very much. And if you haven't already, maybe also hit that notification button down below so you can be notified of future content like this video. Yeah, thank you to every one of you guys out there. And just know that I'm really, really grateful. And then also a big thank you to the channel members. Now, channel members, everyone does their part. Everyone is part of this channel, and I'm so grateful. I'm so humbled by it. But channel members, you humble me even more. You really do. You allow me to do things sooner than I ever thought I'd be able to do. And so for that, I am so grateful. So thank you to you guys. And it's a small way for me to say thank you. I do a couple of really nice things for channel members. And it's just my way to say thank you. It doesn't mean that channel members are better than anybody else. It just means that, you know, I want to say thank you. Thank you for what they do in supporting the channel. Because you've been so generous in your memberships, I want to be generous back to you. And so I usually try to find a very nice knife to give away to the channel members. We do that once a month. Channel members giveaway. I make sure it's not a budget knife. This would be a budget. This would be in the realm of what we give away each week. But for channel members, I make sure it's something really nice. Maybe something I've carried, something I've really enjoyed. So just know that that's my way to say thank you. And you know, if that's of interest to you, like I said, check out the link down below in the description. There's a link for 3 different tiers of being a member. I would be honored. I would love to have you as a channel member. But don't ever feel obligated. Don't ever feel like you have to be. I appreciate you no matter what. So just know that. Yeah. So again, thank you to the channel members. And if you haven't already, check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.